This is the Music History Today podcast for November the 26th. On today's show, MTV goes unplugged, Frank Sinatra gets arrested, and the beginning of the end of the CD officially begins. First up, though, on this date in 1760, composing great Franz Joseph Haydn married his wife Maria Anna Aloysia Apollonia Keller. In 1936, Frank Sinatra was arrested and charged in New Jersey for seduction and for not following through with his promise to marry a woman who he had slept with. Turns out, not only was that actually a law back in the day, but the woman was already married. She then tried to get him arrested again for adultery, but that charge didn't take either. Go figure. In 1940, Xavier Cugat and his orchestra recorded the classic song Orchids in the Midnight. In 1942, the movie Casablanca, with the classic song As Time Goes By, premiered in New York City, but was released nationally a couple of months later, January 23, 1943 to be precise. Speaking of 1943, in 1943, the Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney musical movie Girl Crazy opened. In 1945, Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, and Miles Davis recorded together for the Savoy record label. The recording session was then marketed as the greatest jazz session ever. In 1956, trombonist and band leader of the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra, Mr. Tommy Dorsey, passed away at the age of 51. In 1962, Ike and Tina Turner were married, and that did not end well. In 1968, Cream played their final concert, at least until they reunited for a very brief tour a couple of decades later. The concert, by the way, was held at Royal Albert Hall in London. In 1976, LOL Cream and Kevin Godley left the group 10cc to perform as Godley and Cream. They also did music videos, such as The Police's Every Breath You Take. That was their design. In 1979, Bill Haley performed for Queen Elizabeth II at the Royal Variety Performance. In 1981, Miles Davis married actress Cicely Tyson in one of the homes that Bill Cosby owned. Politician Andrew Young officiated the wedding. In 1989, the show MTV Unplugged premiered with Squeeze, Sid Straw, and Elliot Easton performing in that first show. We discussed the making and the premiere of MTV Unplugged on this week's Music History In-Depth podcast, which has already dropped on this network. In 1991, the TV special The Gladys Knight Holiday Family Reunion aired on ABC television. In 2000, the Beatles hit number one on the Billboard Albums chart with their greatest hits album, Ones, 30 years after the group broke up. In 2001, Cher and Elton John performed for Queen Elizabeth II at the Royal Variety Performance. In 2008, Atlantic Records became the first record label to have sold more digital downloads of their music than CDs, thus beginning the end of the CD as we knew it. In 2011, Jennifer Nettles of Sugarland married businessman Justin Miller. In 2016, the son of the Sex Pistols manager Malcolm McLaren, Mr. Joe Carori, protested the mainstream watering down and appropriating punk rock for punk rock's 40th anniversary by putting punk memorabilia on a boat in the Thames River in London and setting it on fire. And in 2021, theater composer extraordinaire Mr. Stephen Sondheim passed away at the age of 91. In award ceremonies that were held on November the 26th, in 1990, the first Billboard Music Awards ceremony was held. MC Hammer and Janet Jackson were the big winners that night. Albums that were released on November the 26th include in 1988 when Rick Astley released Hold Me in Your Arms. In 1991, Michael Jackson released Dangerous and Ricky Martin released his self-titled album, beginning Ricky Mania. In 2002, Bob Dylan released the Bootleg Series Volume 5 Bob Dylan Live 1975, The Rolling Thunder Review. In 2002, same day, Paul McCartney released Back in the U.S. And singles that were released on November the 26th include in 1965 when the Marvelettes released Don't Mess with Bill. In 1967, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles released More Love. In 1973, Elton John released his Christmas classic, Step Into Christmas. In 1975, Donna Summer released Love to Love You Baby, which got her into an awful lot of trouble with the Christian conservatives because of the number of orgasmic sounds that were made during that particular recording. 22, someone counted. In 1976, the Sex Pistols released their debut single, Anarchy, in the UK. In 1980, Prince released Dirty Mind. In 1985, Vanity released Mechanical Emotion. And in 2003, Pearl Jam released Man of the Hour. Before we continue, we'd like to tell you that we've started Season 2 of the Music History In-Depth podcast, where we go more in-depth on some of the events that we mention on this particular podcast. The Music History In-Depth podcast drops every Tuesday on this podcast network. Now, back to the Music History Today podcast. Artists who were born on November the 26th include the Queen of Rock and Roll herself, Miss Tina Turner. Also, John McVie of Fleetwood Mac, entertainer extraordinaire Mr. Robert Goulet, singer Natasha Bedingfield, Atlantic Records executive, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Nasui Erdogan. Also, Burt Reuter of Focus, singer Gene Terrell, folk music guitarist Davy Graham, Jamie Jones of All for One, Alan Henderson of Them, Burt Bouquet of Earth, Wind & Fire, Dave White of Danny and the Juniors, Ray Brown of the Four Freshmen, singer and actress Marion Mercer, singer Michael Holliday, Adam Gaynor of Matchbox 20, Gail McCormick of Smith, rapper Lil Fizz of B2K, Bob Babbitt of Motown Records' Funk Brothers House Band also has a birthday on this date. Artists who unfortunately passed away on November the 26th, other than the ones mentioned earlier, include organist Johannes Harklew, organist Edward Biederman, opera singer Amelita Gaye-Kersey, pianist Harold Burrage, John Rostill of The Shadows, jazz trombonist Frank Rossellino of the Frank Rossellino Sextet, violinist Cesar Guerrera Pexi, folk music singer Nimrod Workman, record producer David Briggs, opera singer Dame Joan Hammond, singer-songwriter Polo Montanez, rapper Soulja Slim, singer Ronnie Bright of Johnny Symbol, big band singer Louise Tobin, and singer-songwriter Leah Kunkel. Next on the Music History Today podcast, it is November the 27th, when in 1942, the greatest guitarist to ever live, Jimi Hendrix, was born.